My name's Stuart and this is the Royal Ramble, a show which features all the pizzazz of The Rock without a hint of his subtle misogyny. Now we're a couple of days removed from the Royal Rumble, which was of course won by this guy. A few notable things to mention: Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose put on a clinic in their last man standing match, although my favourite part of the match was when a fan said to Kevin Owens, "I like your tattoo." The Usos healed it up without even a single commentator noticing. Big E caught a man on his shoulder and Kalisto revealed that he's been training with Sin Cara after he spiked his own head into the mat. Good times. Sasha is still every fanboy's dream girl, and Byron Saxton, or in the words of The Rock, that other black guy, proved that he's still as stupid as Sin after asking how Roman Reigns was still standing after returning from backstage, where he'd had a 10-minute rest, where presumably he hadn't been wrestling anyone. Although Michael Cole did try to get in on the stupid by saying that we hadn't seen Triple H for a whole month since Roman Reigns put him in the hospital. That is of course unless you own the network, in which case you saw him that same week at NXT London. But the real big news is who showed up on Raw the following night. I am of course talking about Flo Rida and Rick Ross. Oh, I'm not. But the real big news is who showed up on Raw the following night. I am of course talking about The Rock, who not only electrified audiences, he also proved that the product is only PG until one of the really big stars says it isn't really PG at all and decides to drop the word bitch or llama penis. John Cena does it regularly, and The Rock has proved that he's allowed to do it too. Now, if a Stone Cold return was contingent upon the fact that he insisted that he used the word bastard in every other sentence, I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon would go for that too. Also, in The Rock's return, he called Lana out as a philanderer, but because it's The Rock, that's okay. Elsewhere, AJ Styles is finally here. Is that how you do it? I don't know. After a tantalising debut in the Royal Rumble, he had a very good match with Chris Jericho on Raw the following night, which he won, and of course, after beating Jericho, the next obvious opponent was Curtis Axel. Let's hope they push AJ up the card instead of back down, even though he is winning on Smackdown. Also of interest from Smackdown is the fact that Roman Reigns, who no one wanted to win the Royal Rumble, to be honest, he was cheered on Smackdown, whilst the mention of Brock Lesnar, the Beast, who everyone wanted to win the Rumble, was booed. Now, of course, this is Smackdown we're talking about, so this was probably the result of post-show editing. The actual response to Brock was probably a little bit like this. Yes! And then without you even noticing at all, WWE did this. Boo. Very clever, but if you look closely, you can see the subtle differences. Now, WWE is embracing its comedic side with a few new segments in the past week, and they don't only feature K-Quick. Goldust popped up in two rather good little skits this week. I say rather good, not because they were side-splittingly funny, they're not, but because I forgot how good Goldie can be on the mic. Now, if creative would actually give him a storyline and then let him be a little bit bizarre in that storyline, dare I say, we could get an Attitude-esque feel to that storyline within the confines of this faux PG era. Of course, we're not going to be seeing him in bra and panties or being chased around by a big muscly homophobe, but it could still be an interesting way to give TV time and storylines to guys who wouldn't normally get them. I'm thinking, Tyler Breeze maybe? Just a thought. Oh, and by the way, Big Show is definitely face. So, great. Anyway, that's all the time I've got here on Royal Ramble today. If you want to follow me, you can follow me here. Be sure to join me, same time, same place, next week, here on WrestleZone.com.